What's up, AfterBuzzers? Welcome to another Gotham After Show. Today, we talk Jim Gordon clearing his name, Penguin finding his true self, and Bullock being the ultimate wingman. Let's go!
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Into the woods, it's time to go. It may be all in vain, I know. Into the woods, but even so, I have to take the journey.
Jeez.
All right.
Oh, goodness. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Gotham After Show, Season 2, Episode 7, Into the Woods.
17.
17, right?
Yeah.
7.
Not 7.
17. 17 Into the Woods. Monse's back.
Yeah, I'm so back. I'm so glad to be
finally-
here. I forgot to do this.
She finally designed those scarves.
Yes, she did.
That's totally what it is.
Steve is here. I'm here. I'm Micheal Drew. You can find me on Twitter at Micheal_Drew, Micheal EAL. If you guys haven't already, please go to youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV, iTunes, like, comment, please share, respond to us, talk to us. Next to me, we got Miss Bolanos. What's up?
Hi, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, talk to me. You can talk to me on Twitter at Monse Bolanos, MonseBolanos. Also my Instagram. I was going to say
Yes.
Twitter again. Also my Instagram.
I'm Steve Kaufmann. You can find me on Twitter at Steve Kaufmann. That is Kaufmann. I'm also on Instagram, but I don't use the filters and I only post on Thursdays.
Oh, do you really only post on
I
Thursdays?
really only post on Thursdays. It's
I like
no
that.
filter Thursdays.
No filter
Yes.
Thursday.
Isn't it awesome when we
We
introduce
crescendo
ourselves
at
to
the right
a...
moment. Yeah.
No, come on. Ah!
There we go.
We're back. We're here.
Man, I'm ready to find love. Is anybody? Okay.
That was an epic song.
That was an epic song.
I make no regrets in that song.
That was...
Well
I don't
played.
think we've never done a
Well
full-on
chosen.
musical to intro.
No.
Yes.
Feel good.
I mean, it was written for us, literally.
I know it was. Everything was designed for
Yeah.
this pristine night. All right, guys. Off the top, your initial thoughts of today's episode. Tonight's episode.
So good.
Yeah, I really
Really?
liked it. And you made a comment that you didn't, and I really liked it. Like, possibly top 5 episode.
Wow.
Easily top 5.
Jeez Louise. Top
I'm
5.
contemplating what is top 3 for me.
What the? Really?
It's a
feel
great
like-
episode.
I thought
Yeah.
they made a lot of bold choices that I was not expecting.
Lil Wayne can fly. He,
Oh,
I
no, yeah,
mean,
that part, yeah.
you jump building to building.
I didn't care about that.
That was cool.
We get Bullock in sexually suggestive situations.
Ultimate
So
wingman.
wait, is he still married?
He was. No,
He
Was
was married.
Bullock-
he wasn't married.
He was dating the other woman.
And they
dating
didn't. Okay, so was never married.
Yeah,
I
he was
thought-
never
okay.
married to that
Okay,
lady.
And I guess they
Gotcha.
broke up, clearly.
Or he's
Or he's just doing things on the
Clearly.
side.
Or he's really doing that on the side to help Gordon,
Hopeful.
and then that's something we come back to later.
And that makes him even better wingman.
I think that has to be it, though,
Right?
because I feel like they set up him and that lady so hard that if they
Like if we never see him again.
like if they break up, like that has to be like a 2-part B-side storyline.
If you cheat on your girl, but it's to help your
It's not
best
okay.
friend
No,
get
no,
off
I'm not
murder,
saying
is
it's
that
okay.
Not okay.
That's not okay? It is to
Not
save
okay.
a life.
I'm sorry, but
That's not okay.
So it's so
Let's-
judgmental. It's
Although
not all
let's-
about. It's not all
No.
about the girl.
Let's be fair, that internal affairs girl might not be into sex at all. They never specified they were gonna actually have sex. It was a sexual situation.
Oh yeah.
And she was like, "Get in the
Nah,
bedroom, get in the bedroom."
She was
It
in
might
full
have
command.
been like straight up other stuff.
okay.
She's like, "What's up, big boy?" Man, she was waiting.
Like
Yeah,
she wants.
Daddy was going.
She said, "Yeah." She
He
said,
said
"Daddy." Right?
daddy.
He said, "Daddy's coming."
Daddy's coming.
Bullock.
Okay.
Daddy's coming, and then he's gonna help her with her homework,
All
and that's
right.
what she's
Seriously?
into.
Is that their
No,
role
that's
play?
not a euphemism. I think she's gonna have complicated algebra, and he's gonna sit there and explain it to her.
Okay.
Okay.
That-
Well,
Nobody's into that.
no.
right.
That's just you, Steve. That's just
All
you. I'm. So you both like the episode.
Yes.
I thought it was good, but there were the two reveals. You know, when Jim reveals who he knows how he knows who the killer is, when he's having that one-on-one moment with Nigma, and the reveal of when the Penguin becomes his true self again. I thought those reveals, I don't know, I thought they could have been done.
You're saying that
Better.
Penguin feeding that woman her kids was not
That
epic
was-
enough for you?
What?
What did you need?
What did you want? Because he also stabbed her and killed her and left her
Did
there
you
in
want him?
tears.
Did you want him actually butchering those kids?
The way he got his vengeance wasn't what did. Okay, we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get. I'll explain.
You're leading the ship.
Yeah,
I know.
you go.
We'll get there. We'll get.
You
there.
want to talk about what you didn't like?
Let's do that.
We'll get there. I mean, I think that's what everyone's talking about now. Anyway. All right. So anyway, we'll just start off at the beginning of the show, and we'll end up there. So we start off with Jim, who has escaped, and he's chilling at Bullet's apartment.
Which, by the way, if I were Barnes, that would be the first place I look.
Right. I know.
I think. You know what?
Unless Bullock has multiple apartments. Apparently, Bullock is into some stuff.
I actually think Barnes was taking his time with a lot of stuff. I think Barnes was purposely
Like giving him the space.
Yeah. If Barnes really wanted to find Jim, he knows he's gonna be at Bullock's. Barnes isn't stupid. Barnes is just, leading it, kind of like, giving like, listen, you know what you're doing is wrong. Like, don't make me come get you. He was giving him a lot of leeway.
I want to believe you, but I
just
don't
do it.
think that's the way it was written. Like, I don't think that's the way it was
Barnes
supposed
is
to be.
Barnes is a literal Boy Scout in
That's
this
what I was going to
sense.
say. I was like, we've seen him all up until this point being like in his face, like wanting to do the right thing. And you're saying that he was just letting, no. I think, like, I want to believe you. I wish that was what happened, but I don't think so. I think it was just badly executed.
Huh.
Gang's all here, and we're right back into the flow.
Right
of
back
things.
into the 2-against-1 scheme. Despite me articulating my point, I think very well. No, I think Barnes has proven to be smart enough, and he wants Jim, but he still kind of likes Jim and Bullock, and he kind of hopes that. I think in the back of his mind, he wants Jim to clear his name, and so I think he was chasing him, but he wasn't going full throttle. Like, you know what I mean? It's like playing basketball with someone, and you feel bad for him, and you're kind of letting him beat you.
Why
but
are you
go
looking
hard.
directly at me?
No, not you.
Why are you looking directly at me? What are you?
I'm just saying.
That
I'm just saying. If you want this one-on-one, homie, we could do it.
last Wednesday at the rec center, we didn't go to a complete tie.
And no, I don't know what you're talking about. That never happened. Come on now.
Wow.
Ain't no complete ties with me.
Okay.
Come on. But I'm just saying that, like, I think he gave them leeway. I think in the back of his mind, he kind of wanted Jim to pull through, so he didn't go as hard as he could have. But I'm just saying that.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
I think he is enough of a Boy Scout.
No, if you disagree with me,
And
don't
maybe,
comment.
also, I think if you break out of prison, the manhunt isn't led by him. I think he's he's not the police commissioner. He's the homicide detective. He's the head of homicide.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't have been the leader of the manhunt. So he may have been withholding
Yeah.
the obvious choice of, like, yeah, he's probably at Bullock's house. But aside from that, I think he was very much a Boy Scout of, like, if you're aiding and abetting him in any way,
Okay.
you will be disbarred from the force. You get disbarred from
Maybe
the force,
he did
right?
stop by
Maybe.
Barnes' house a couple times, and then that day he just didn't go.
We'll just disagree.
Okay.
We're right there.
All right.
We've moved
So,
on.
but before we actually go to the apartment, Barnes has that little one-on-one with Bullock, and he tells him, find him, blah blah blah, and then Bullock proceeds to say my favorite line of the episode. Well, one of my two favorite lines, because he says two good ones. Eat my socks.
Yeah.
I thought that was the most PG way. And in an episode with blood and grotesque murder,
Yeah.
you don't have to say eat my socks.
The first act of this episode was super campy, and I loved it.
Which part? The
The whole part, like,
Yeah.
the Bruce Wayne jumping over the
Lil
building.
Wayne,
Yeah.
Lil Wayne can fly. Bullock with the IA lady. Like, a lot of it was just real campy.
Yeah.
All the way to, like, the overhead shot in Arkham with Barbara Keene doing, like, I'm not going to jump too far ahead, but
Yeah.
like that overhead shot, and then like, I've killed all these people.
But I feel better.
I
Yeah.
feel that, like, that's just, like, so campy, and I love it.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, I like the camp. I thought there was a good amount. So we go back to Bullock and Jim trying to figure out who the killer is at Bullock's apartment, and they very quickly figure out that it's someone in the precinct.
Right.
It's got to be a cop.
Right.
They put two and two together, and then they decide to go get the cassette of the informant
Right. The call that was made
to
say that they saw
yes.
Jim kill.
Yeah,
Theo.
to say that they saw Jim kill Theo, and then they proceed to go, and that's where Bullock showcases his good friendship. He goes and he sacrifices his body for the greater good.
With he says the IA sugar plum or something.
Yeah, he says hi sugar plum, and they went right to it. Like, he wouldn't even like persuade her. The moment he shows up, like, hey, what's up? I was waiting for you, daddy.
Well, I mean, he negotiated the deal beforehand. Like,
Right.
there wasn't much else to talk
And
about
this
once
was-
you show up.
And this wasn't the first deal.
Of course not.
So that's why it's like once you know what the deal is.
It's like, you know where the water is. You know where the Band-Aids are. You know how to turn on the shower
know.
after.
You know, so let's get to it.
That's good. I mean, there's no need. Let's not play games.
Ain't nobody got time.
Yeah. And then while he's doing this, he goes to Jim and he lets Jim listen. I'm gonna go handle my business. I'm gonna go show her what's up. In the meantime,
He says 1 hour. Okay.
yeah, did he say he said 1 hour? He
That's
said
good.
1 hour. Damn,
all right.
Bullock.
Well,
That's good.
he cuddles after.
True.
It's 45 minutes and 15 minutes of cuddling.
45 minutes though, Bullock. Like that's Steve. Shut up. Steve, you see how cocky Steve is getting? He's like that's nothing. Come
Is
on.
that not a lot
45.
of... Okay,
45 minutes. Come on, man. Like, oh, okay, damn. All right, marathon man. All right, Bullock's out here. Damn. Okay.
guys.
I mean, door to door, 45 minutes. Never mind.
So Jim, during the marathon, he finds the tape,
Yep.
and then he proceeds to leave. And of course, Jim, being the hero that he is, he stops a mugging. And when he stops the mugging, and like right on time, then a cop shows up and
Wait,
identifies
this is how it
him.
went. You're under arrest. Then he turns around, and it's like, for stopping a mugging?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
under arrest for beating down 2 criminals that were stealing a purse from a lady that I
Probably
was
gonna-
here
yeah.
and saw you do.
I know. Like, did you just show up? He just
You're
saved
under
her.
arrest for stopping me from stopping a mugging.
And
That's
the-
obstruction of
Yes.
justice.
And the woman screamed and ran. Did she figured out it was Jim? Is that what it was?
Then she looked him dead in the face and ran.
Jim Gordon just saves you. And it's like, oh wait, you're Jim Gordon. Ah, like
Is that why she ran?
Yeah,
I
that's what I
thought she
figured.
just got scared because he had the knife after he just beat someone.
No, I thought because they established in that piece on the TV that there was a manhunt for
for
him.
him. Okay, all right.
So
okay.
that his face was everywhere.
Okay.
There was usually when these weird things happen, there's an edit for time, or it was just written one way and then edited another way, and that's what I think happened here, where it's like, where it seems like a cop came up in enough time to save the lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to mention heading the same direction opposite of where Gordon was, where he would have been spotted earlier anyway. I don't know. It felt a little wonky.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed keeping him in peril. Because there was a lot of this that could have gone with like, oh, so Gordon's just going to figure everything out?
Yeah.
Like everything's just going to be good with Gordon? Like Barbara's just not going to show up?
Yeah.
And like, wow, so he's Superman now? Everything works?
Yeah, I mean, that scene wasn't really needed because if you consider what the next scene was, it's just him in the car with Bullock just going over the tape.
Well, you
A little
needed...
bit.
I mean, it wasn't really, it didn't
actually,
lead to anything.
Well, because it didn't...
just
Because
let him
it
run.
didn't make the manhunt... Like, it didn't put him on a pin on the map
Right.
that would get him closer.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, you're right. The scene didn't exist at all, but I guess they wanted that scene, but they had to cut it down for
I guess they just
time
wanted to
or-
show him that he's still a hero.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
I enjoyed that. Like, that
Yeah.
was important. That was important to me, and I think that's why the scene stayed. But you're right. It didn't make the walls close in any which way.
Yeah.
Granted, 2 scenes later, he was being electrocuted by a chair.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not like there was much time to close in the walls.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're trying just to show that, his heart's racing. That,
Yeah, that he's
Right.
that he's against time right
he's
now.
a hero who will be a hero at all costs, and B, there's a very clear manhunt.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
right.
it accomplished those.
Yeah. It was
So-
like not necessary, but there was reason behind it.
Yeah. So back to what I was saying, they're in the car with Bullock and they're listening to the tape, and the voice is clearly tampered with, and it sounds like, like the whole, the muffled, scary, like, hello.
I have that
That's not what it sounded
You
like.
guys
but
have-
I
that's good.
sounded just like that.
Do you guys have that app? Though?
The app, no,
There's
because
an
I
app
don't.
that does that.
Oh,
Why
that
do
makes
you
me
need that?
feel real safe.
Yeah, what do you need that app for?
I plead the 5th on that one.
That makes me feel real safe.
So apparently, he's a marathon man who has a voice-altering mechanism at his apartment.
Well, it's also it's an app on my phone. It's also whatchamacallit, a call bluffer. We're not going to get into this right now.
We're finding out so many things.
It allows you to call from another phone number.
Oh,
We're gonna stop talking.
Okay. This is a
So
Steve. Hey,
so we got that,
Yeah.
and then we got
it's like a cold bead of sweat just came down my neck. I'm like, oh. So now they're trying to figure out who's on the phone. I think they hear that there's a bird in the background.
or something.
They hear a muffled something in the background.
and they don't know if it's a bird, but
Yeah, and
Or a
Jim.
plane.
Yes.
or
Touche.
Superman.
Yes. And Jim pretty much says, I got an idea. I'm gonna go get some help to get someone to help clean this tape up. And of course, what are the odds? Who does he go to? He goes to Ed Nigma.
Why
Freaking
not?
Ed Nigma.
Why
Why
not?
wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you go to Ed? He goes to Ed, and Ed is just stalling. I like this whole sequence, but I'm about to say what bothered me about this thing.
Tell us.
Go for it.
Ed was stalling the whole time. You know, they had their little back and forth about why Jim thinks the person who did the killing, who framed him, is really a murderer, and Ed, of course, you know, he's
Psychopath.
he's a psychopath. They're speaking about him, so he's just like, oh, what do you mean? And they kind of have a little back and forth, and then they have the little back and forth on where Ed is not interrogating, but they're listening to the tape while Jim is on the chair. Jim says he knows it's him, then he electrocutes Jim. I was kind of hoping from the get-go it would kind of showcase that like Jim knew that it was Ed from the get-go. And I don't know if they were
From
trying
when
to,
he got there.
Yeah. Because there wasn't I wanted a level of surprise. And I wanted there to be like he's there and he's playing dumb, like, can you help me find who this killer is? And then there's a moment where he turns and he's like, I know it's you, dude. I was hoping for that.
I was actually fooled the whole way.
I was too.
I was fooled the whole way to a point where I honestly think he figured it out in the room.
I thought so too.
You know, I was under the impression that he just figured that he was just like, because we just had this argument right now, I think you're the killer. And that's what I got. And I'm thought,
okay with that.
I'm
Yeah.
not,
Because
I thought that was just lame.
because I thought the whole scene had such intensity and value because realistically Nigma was fishing for who do you think did it?
Yeah.
Do you think it was Loeb, one of Loeb's cronies? I saw the wheels turning in Nigma's head then of he's thinking of a Loeb crony that he could frame in the room.
I know.
And Nigma is so good that I wouldn't have been surprised if Nigma set up a frame of a frame.
I know, but it would have been nice to have seen him. And this is an issue I had with the Oswald thing later on. They were just the smartest people in the room, even though because they would have fooled us too, you know, like because he went to Ed and we're like uh-oh, Jim's about to get in trouble, like because he doesn't know that Ed's the killer. But it would have been nice to know that Jim, even though we don't know he knows, Jim knows.
I don't think he knew.
That's what I'm saying. I wanted Jim to know.
That's why, and
I would like to have him to have figured it out by the time he got there.
I would have been okay with that.
You know what I mean?
But I'm also okay with him being a good enough detective, but Nigma being good enough at framing him,
right,
that he had to figure it out in the room.
Like I was completely shocked
because I honestly thought
I was shocked when he's like, "I know it was you." I was like, "What?" Because have we moved 3 episodes forward?
Really? I mean,
Nigma has been set up as such a criminal mastermind because he works within the GCPD that I was honestly thinking that he had set up, like he would have found a way to send Gordon directly to Loeb, and then set it all up later that like Gordon takes down Loeb, clears his name, and then Nigma's still at the GCPD.
Yeah. My thing
doing
was
his Dexter thing.
My thing was I was hoping for that reaction from him or Oswald. It didn't have to be both of them, but one of them had to have been the smartest person. Like it's like I'm just gonna say real quick the Oswald situation where where he has revenge on the people who murdered his father, right? I was kind of hoping that the first meal they're having, they were already getting poisoned. He was already aware. I was kind of hoping that like he was like I've already changed, like because the way he turns,
I've got something for Cobblepot, but we can wait till we're there.
Okay, but all right. But with Jim, I was kind of hoping that there would be a moment where Jim would and even like break down how he figured it out. Like the whole time he's leading Ed on, and then he's like, "Well, I knew it was you because," and then he just traces the steps.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
That's what I was hoping for. At least as opposed to like, "Oh, it was you." Oh, and then he pulls a gun on him.
Yeah, I'm okay with either.
I like
because
the way
that makes Nigma look strong.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna talk about it like it's pro wrestling. Makes Nigma look strong. Nigma can be #1 contender down the road now.
But he already looks strong because he can still electrocute him in the end.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Even though Jim finds him out.
Jim look. We're over this because then Jim would have been looking for an electrocuting chair if he walked in knowing. If he walked in knowing that Nigma was the guy, he would have been looking for electrocuting chairs.
He would have came in more prepared. He came in like relaxed, and I'm just gonna go with it.
He came in thinking this is
I'm your friend.
Yeah, this is my friend who's gonna help me.
Yeah, that would have changed the whole dynamic of him arriving there.
How would you know? How would he know it's an electric chair? He doesn't know he can make electric chairs.
But if you know that this guy totally framed you, aren't you going to be a little bit more on alert?
Yeah, but he can still sit down.
At least look at the chair. Yeah, not have the tea.
Not have the tea, not just hang out, not listen to this tape, not bond.
Look at the chair before you sit in it.
But he would still sit down. He could probably, because if he's trying to lure him into a confession, he could sit down. Or if he's trying to weaken him or something, he's gonna sit down.
Right,
He
he's
can
gonna sit down,
in a
and then
chair.
what is he gonna do? Fill the chair.
I
He's
mean,
gonna sit
come
down
on.
and make sure that everything that he's around, like he's not just gonna, oh yeah, let's have some more tea.
I mean, it's not like the guy's known for bombing chairs. A chair's a chair. He's not expecting that if I sit down, he might have a bomb on the chair. You know, all I'm saying is I would have liked him to have been a little smarter, to have been
I
to
think
been
the
more
scene.
hit.
I think the scene made sense in the universe they portrayed.
Mm-hmm.
I say that a lot.
All right.
Well, guys, if there's anyone who's listening to this and who agrees with me, Micheal Drew, Micheal_Drew, Micheal EAL, you can tweet me. All right, or you can just agree with me. And if you don't agree with me, well then, welcome to the party. Welcome to the party. All right, so pretty much in this entire scene, Nigma gets called out. It's exposed that he's the killer, and then he electrocutes Jim on the chair.
And he
Ed-
says he knew that he knew.
He says
I knew that you knew that I knew.
So
Yes.
isn't that what
that
you
Moxie
wanted?
knew.
Isn't that what you wanted?
No,
You got
but-
it from him though.
No, but I'm saying Jim found out in the end. It came out to me that Jim found out in the
Yeah,
end.
Jim worked it out in the room.
Yeah.
Jim worked out in the room.
Because
I
I
was
like
hoping,
that.
I wanted Jim to know before he got there, but he's
Gotcha.
still gonna play them like he doesn't know.
Gotcha. Cool.
So Ed drags out Jim. Jim wakes up, gets shot in the booty, and then hides. And while hiding,
I was not expecting that.
Not at all.
I was expecting that same scene we always get. The bullet hits the window and there goes the foot.
yeah, that gunshot
Like,
was
You know, we get that all the time.
that was a big
Yeah.
blood gush.
I wasn't expecting Gordon to get away. Actually, I was expecting the like the typical Gordon in peril. Billick has to come and get him. Like there are a lot of tropes that the show likes to define, likes to just completely go against.
Right.
Yeah,
Where it's just like, no, he gets away
Yeah.
because people get away.
yeah,
Yeah.
So Jim makes it away, and here he meets up. He goes to find Selena to help him.
I love that.
Yes, and this whole episode, Selena and Bruce were just running around doing their street kid stuff, stealing from bad guys. Bruce is throwing money off the roofs, and Bruce finally runs into Jim, and Jim does he pass out?
Yeah.
He goes and he passes out.
And that's when Selena says, "Great, a dead cop in my couch" or something.
Yes.
Of course. I mean, who wants that?
Right?
Now,
Although I wanted the long line of like, great, a dead ex-cop who escaped from Arkham is in my place. What did you get me into?
Yeah. That would have been
damn
better.
it, Bruce.
Worst roommate ever.
Ever.
Craigslist, never again.
So Jim wakes up and he's in Wayne Manor. Jim wakes up in Wayne Manor and Alfred
Yep.
is there and taking care of him. I think Alfred was making him tea too.
Yeah, lucky.
Everybody gets tea.
Everybody.
It seemed that when I saw this happen, I saw you throw your hands up at the screen, Steve.
Yes.
Did you not want this moment to happen? With I saw when he was in Wayne Manor and Alfred was there, Bruce was there. It's like everyone was together. I looked to you and you seemed to be a little like, huh?
Was I looking at this? Monday Night Raw is happening right next
Was
to
it?
this.
Oh,
Okay,
that's
no,
probably
It
what
may have
Okay.
been. It
Okay.
may have been Natalia and Charlotte. There were
Okay.
a couple things happening there.
I was thinking.
I'm not saying.
I was thinking
good.
that you
That's
weren't.
good.
Don't make notes on my reactions to this.
No, I was thinking that you were thinking that you weren't happy with Alfred coming in again so soon. You know what I mean? Because I know we wanted a little more Bruce Selena time, a little more Alfred away time, to build up the distance.
I wanted it completely off screen, but
Yeah.
I'm okay with what we got.
Okay.
And I'm okay with now everything reconverging.
Yeah.
Convening? Reconverging.
Okay.
Reconverging because they've converged and then they, reconverged.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they intersected pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so Jim wakes up in glad we covered that. Jim wakes up in Wayne Manor, and Alfred's taking care of him. And Alfred, he has a little moment with Bruce telling him to come back, but they can't really talk about that because Jim wakes up, and then Alfred, he talks to Jim about how he's gonna get out of the situation.
Well, yeah, he just kind of, it seems like he's mocking him that he thinks he's going to find this guy
Yeah.
that has shot him and now this, and that. And then he does have a plan.
Yeah, and he kind of guilts him too about the Bruce Wayne stuff, about Bruce Wayne, about the Matches Malone stuff. Mm-hmm. He kind of, and he doesn't do it on purpose.
No,
but,
he didn't guilt him at all.
But it bothers Bruce. It bothers Jim though.
Jim guilted himself, and I think, blonde names, Alfred had a much easier way of saying it. Like, you can't unfry an egg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kids on the street now with messed up hair.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
he wound up in that room with Matches Malone. You can live in the world of shoulda and coulda all you want. We're in a world where Lil Wayne can fly.
And also, just real quick, didn't you guys think Lil Wayne looked way older in this episode? I was like, did he just do like a big growth spurt?
No, he got street.
Yeah,
Okay, is that what it was?
Yeah, I like the cockiness in the beginning. Like the little cocky when he was a little more juvenile, not juvenile, but like
childish,
like a little more like exuberant. Like he was just a little more like when he threw out the money, it's like he had a rush.
But I felt like his face looked like I swear, I was like, I feel like this guy like really grew up 2 years in life right now. Like I feel like his face changed.
Oh, it looks like he isn't sleeping though.
Could
Okay,
not sleeping much.
The amount of breaks this damn show has been having this season. He's probably like growing. That's right, aged. So they figure out a plan to send Selena to go pretty much lead Nigma back to Kringle's body.
I loved how they did that.
That was well done.
Yes.
And I loved, man, I'm not gonna miss Nigma because Nigma's clearly gonna be in prison now, but man, Nigma.
Yeah.
Nigma is so good. Nigma he starts freaking out, goes to the mirror, and pretty much makes his plan on what he has to do. And I love the way he calculates his plans. Like 80%, it might not work for me, but 80% they might tell him like, all right, like,
By the way, 60%.
If you have two variables that are 80%, the chance of something happening is still 80%.
Yeah.
It's 80 plus 80 divided by 200 is 160 out of 200, which is still 0.8. I'm not good at the math.
But
I wouldn't have got that, but
I can tell you that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got that. But so Nigma pretty much makes his decision to go get Kringle, and Jim outsmarts Nigma, and he follows him all the way. And then they have their little standoff. Now, what do you guys think about the standoff? You think it was a little?
It was a little predictable in the sense that I was like, obviously they're gonna show up.
Well, the shock was that he showed up. No, the shock was that Jim showed up at all.
Yeah.
So that the standoff could get away with being a little predictable.
Right.
Because
Exactly.
it's like Jim wouldn't have shown up without backup. He would have had the in on Bullock that it's just like, no, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like, hey, like it was probably a quick text. It was Nigma. I'm gonna be in the woods.
Yeah.
JK LOL.
Yeah.
Smiley face.
Yeah.
Stop it.
BT Dubs, how are things with that chick?
Yeah.
That's how I text.
Goodness. Okay. All right. I like the standoff.
Yeah.
Like I was waiting for everyone to show up and, for that moment to be like, okay, save the day, Barnes and everyone in Bullock. But I enjoyed the standoff, and I enjoyed the struggle for Enigma when he still wanted to shoot him. And
I was like,
is he gonna shoot him? Is he gonna shoot him?
Because Nigma was never just the like shoot you in the face kind of villain.
But technically, I would have thought that he knew the calculated risk that he was already going to jail. So I might as well take him out. But then again,
or shoot him in the other leg.
Yeah, because he was going to jail for murder. He killed Kringle.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other guy's there, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I think aren't they both buried?
I mean, Kringle's body's right there.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
would have just dug it up.
Right.
They would have dug it up and just tried him for a bunch of stuff.
Right.
Yeah. But so pretty much the cops come, Nigma runs away, and they capture him. They capture him, and happy days are here again. Jim is free. Jim is free. Barnes clears him, and he tells Jim that you're ready to become a cop again. And then Jim's like, no.
Jim be like, nah.
I got something to do.
I got stuff to do.
And then he's like, oh, and Barnes gives Jim Lee's
Card.
and he's like, she lives down south, blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, call Lee. He's like,
Yeah.
nah, I gotta solve this other murder. I'm like, damn,
It's
Jim.
like, Jim, we don't have time.
Like, what's your problem? Like, I like Jim. I've sided with him in this relationship too, by the way. But Jim, man, call your lady.
Call her.
Like, what's wrong with
She
you,
just
dude?
had a miscarriage,
I
and you don't
know.
want to call her?
Like, what's wrong with this
I think
guy?
he should have called her.
Yeah.
Yo, yeah, yeah,
like,
Steve.
Not a
Like,
text.
no.
I'm throwing pens. I'm so angry.
Yeah.
I threw mine earlier.
Yeah.
It's gone now.
It's gone. We lost it. He's tripping. He's
Yeah.
tripping. And I hated the reason. I thought he was going to say something else. I thought he was going to say, I can't become a cop yet because I'm going to go find Lee. And then he's like, I have to figure out who hired Matches Malone. Come on.
I mean, can he do
Then
that?
I need to keep the plot of this story. I need to keep the plot of this TV show we're all on.
We've got 5 more episodes, Barnes.
moving.
But I don't know. It's like, I'm not saying don't. I'm saying come back and be a cop. Come back and get Lee.
I know.
Continue on. And then,
Yeah.
let's keep going. But why do you have to stop and not call this woman who had
Yeah.
your baby
But I
and
know.
lost it?
And especially if he was essentially not listening to Alfred of just like,
Right.
you can't unfry an egg, where it's like, you're just going to look into the past and you're just going to get dirty.
Well,
Right.
he's trying to unfry that egg.
Right?
So pretty much, he Barnes still convinces him that he has to call Lee. And then there's a moment later on where he's about to call Lee, and then he calls her, and then he hangs up. I thought another man was gonna answer the phone.
I know you said. I was like, really? That's too soon.
But he
Only if it's Ryan Reynolds.
I mean, yeah, it's been a while. Like,
Ayo.
well done.
They look good. They look
Real
good.
well played.
They did look good together.
They looked good.
He hangs up the phone. Someone knocks at the door, and it's freaking Barbara.
And I like how I was like, it's Barbara. And you're like, duh.
Yeah, I know.
I honestly thought the Barbara thing would have taken a shorter amount of time once
Yeah.
they let her go, and then the Gordon being on the run thing would have taken longer, and then Barbara would have essentially led them to Gordon. And this was all about Doctor Strange, or sorry, just Strange.
Yeah.
He's not a doctor, right?
I mean, I think he thinks
Hugo
he
Strange.
is.
I mean,
Hugo Strange.
Hugo Strange.
It's all about Hugo Strange getting 10 grand.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's all. He put the entire city of Gotham at risk, so Barbara can lead him
Yeah.
to Gordon.
That's crazy.
But no, that didn't happen because
No.
that would be a little
Yeah.
huckstery.
And back on Bruce's side, Alfred tells Bruce that Lucius fixed the computer.
Yep.
But he has to learn that he has to get away from Selena because he's putting her at risk.
Yep. He
So
says
he
it's
bounces
work or her,
work or her.
not both.
He'd be
bounces-
like,
yeah.
he'd be like, sorry, boo.
He'd
Yeah.
be like, sorry.
I felt bad for Selena. Selena, after all this time, she
I
likes him.
know. It was so abrupt too. It was kind of like,
like,
okay,
peace.
Alfred, I'm gonna go and I'll be back in 3 days. I'm gonna cut the,
Yeah.
slowly. But it was just like, I'm not gonna leave this mansion. I'm gonna stay right here. But
Well-
it's been fun.
Well, he's gonna be ruthless. He's gonna
Money's
win.
on the table.
It's
yeah.
been real.
I know. Go find another guy. We're from different sides of the street, baby.
Well, that's what he was trying to say, that it wasn't the case.
Yeah.
Right.
That said, I think this version of Catwoman isn't going to have any, massive trauma to become Catwoman.
Yeah.
I think she just needs to keep being dropped by
Bruce.
every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just 5 or 6 years of just I'm into you, let's hang out.
Yeah.
Nah.
Go back to your lair.
She even threw the jacket away that he sewed and fixed for her.
And the sew, it did seem a little Catwoman-esque.
Catwoman-y with Michelle Pfeiffer's
Yeah.
Catwoman, the white stitching.
Yeah, it seemed like that.
Well, I mean,
But he threw it.
he's
She threw
good.
it. She threw it. I mean, she threw
he's
it.
good at sewing, but not matching the color of the thread.
Yeah. Well, it's all right, Bruce.
He'll work. He'll get
Can't do
there.
everything.
You got it, Lil Wayne.
So, all right. So now, real quick, Oswald. So Oswald
Loved.
Everything
becomes,
about this.
Loved all of it.
Becomes his stepmother's freaking
Maid.
Servant.
and they're just like, I was hoping that he was just, that there was, while they were abusing him, the old Oswald already clicked.
Nope.
Like during the trauma of the funeral, it came
Nope.
back.
I'm glad it wasn't.
Yeah.
I'm glad it was something so traumatic, like something about his dad, that it wasn't just, you're bullying me.
Yeah.
This is going to make me go back to the psycho killer or whatever. I'm glad it wasn't just bullying. I'm glad it was realizing something big, and it was that his father was killed. And it was intentionally, it wasn't initially for him?
Yeah.
Didn't she bring it for him?
It was that, and he knew that.
Did he? Okay.
No,
cool.
that
Oh,
he
because
put,
of the
he
of the
literally
glass, right.
put all of that together.
Right, because
and
of
that
the
was
glass.
his trigger. Because we'd all been talking about what would trigger Oswald out of whatever Strange did to him. Mm-hmm. And it's this. Mm-hmm. It's this massive amount of trauma in one dose. Mm-hmm. Because otherwise he was subservient. And I actually haven't brought this up yet, but I'm pretty sure whatever happened to Cobblepot is the same thing that Zaz did to Butch. And there's clearly a way to untrigger or to trigger Butch.
Yeah.
And it would be something deeply emotional like this.
All right.
Also, I think they just, in a very short period of time, set up a very satisfying beginning and ending to this is your dad, he loves you. Oh, he's dead because of a gold digger and her 2 kids. No, they were trying to kill, he's dead because they were trying to kill you. Let's trigger back into King of the Underworld.
Yeah.
Right.
And that happens. Now he's got all the money in the world. He's murdered them. He killed her brutally, and it was satisfying.
Does he get the money?
He's the last remaining bloodline. He's the only. It has to be him.
No, but she would have different kin than him. If the estate went to her and officially went to her. All right. If the estate went to her,
Yeah.
it would then be her estate.
Right.
Meaning that if he killed her and her kin, the estate wouldn't, legally speaking, and that's not always what's going to happen here, but legally speaking, the estate would then go to her next of kin, which would be her mom,
Yeah.
or dad, or brother.
Yeah. That's
like-
not gonna happen though.
I don't think
It's
that's
going to
no. I
him.
think
It's going
he's
to Oswald.
Yeah.
well, no, he's a criminal mastermind. He's going to bury those bodies. People aren't going to notice for
Yeah.
months,
Right.
and he's just going to live in that house.
Yeah.
Not to
And you know
mention it
these-
was so soon after the death that I'm sure the estate never actually transferred.
Right. And you know that this family has no relations with anybody else. And
Yeah.
they're probably all, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. He'll get away with it, and he'll get it all.
All right. Well, okay. Well, that's it for the episode. Let's
doing this?
prediction.
Oh yeah.
Who's got one?
I don't have it.
Who brought out the music? Someone's got to have
I
it.
always work it out in the room,
I know.
much like Gordon did in this episode.
Very Gordon-y of you.
All right. The monsters are finally, because it's 5 weeks. We said 5 weeks. The monsters are going to come out from Indian Hill.
Yeah.
In the trailer, you saw Mr. Freeze and you saw Gallivant.
We saw-
Gallivant looked like he was moving. Yeah.
Yeah, like a zombie Gallivant.
Yeah. Ha.
He didn't look like a zombie.
White Walker Gallivant.
White Walker Gallivant.
Yeah. Totally.
So I feel like that's your like last 3 episodes. So we still have 2 more weeks of Gordon trying to find out who hired Matches Malone, of Wayne and Alfred going through that computer, and then Bullock banging more chicks. No,
Well,
I mean doing algebra with more chicks.
yes.
That's what I have. So I think in the next 2 weeks we might get Mr. Freeze. Like Mr. Freeze might be the first wave. Mm-hmm. So it looks like in the next 2 weeks we're gonna get Mr. Freeze, and then he's gonna fight Gordon. At some point, Gordon's gonna come back to the Force because what else does he do?
Yeah.
Right. He has to.
He's probably gonna call Lee and me. Or no, I think that call was it. I think he's not gonna call Lee until the end of this whole season. Like he's gonna go through hell in the next 5 weeks of this show, and then once he like takes down all the monsters of Indian Hill and realizes that there's nothing he can do and he should just be with the woman he loves, he'll then call her, and then a dude will answer. And I want it to be Ryan Reynolds' voice.
That would be crazy. I was just gonna
Just
say
for
that.
like,
Yeah, all right.
it doesn't have to be Ryan Reynolds next year when we come back, but I want it to be Ryan Reynolds' voice as Deadpool.
Okay. So if that happens, just to follow
Yes.
up. So, and I agree, Lee will have somebody else by then.
Yes.
Totally. So
You
Barbara,
can't keep that locked down.
Yeah.
is Barbara going to remain good, and like this relationship with Jim is going to slowly?
Oh.
Because you know, if that's what's happening, and Barbara keeps going with this good girl act,
He did love her.
Jim's alone.
No.
Lonely and
That's
depression.
gonna happen, and we're all gonna make that sound I just made.
Love
Just
it.
live in the room, or just be like, come
Why?
on.
Yes.
Why is it the end?
All right, everybody, that's it for today's episode of AfterShow for Gotham AfterBuzz TV. I am Micheal Drew. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Micheal_Drew, Micheal EAL. Also, I was recently part of a cool little sketch based off Batman called Bats. You can see that at youtube.com/HappyWifeInc. That's Happy Wife Inc. It's a nice little comedy featuring our favorite hero, Gotham-esque. Ladies and gents, where can we find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Monse Bolanos, MonseBolanos. What about you?
You guys can find me on Twitter almost exclusively at Steve Kaufmann. That is KAUFMANN. I'm doing Modern Family this week, and then I'll be back for the finale of Vinyl next week. Right before I do this, I also live tweet Raw for an hour in between Vinyl and this.
Damn,
So
he's busy.
Stay on top of it.
So he's here.
I am here.
Goodbye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.